Coach, obviously, nip and tuck ball game. How do you feel like that your guys played, you kind of generating some pressure and stopping that run last week?
Well, it's kind of like they always say, it's never as good as you think or never as bad as you think. We didn't play very good up front. We got to be a whole lot better this week against a better team, and that's what we're concentrating on this week in practice.
You saw DeMonte Russell come back. What can you say about the way he and Don Terry have been supporting each other through? Both of them have been a bit banged up a little bit here of late.
I was proud of DeMonte, having been out for about 3 weeks and coming back and playing inside. He had some really good snaps, and I think as he gets more comfortable, he got a chance to be really good in developing that role as kind of a swing guy. He can play in, he can play inside, and that's kind of going to be where he has a chance to do some different things for us. So I was proud of it. Obviously, Don Terry's two things Don Terry has. He has length and athletic ability, and that's what you can't coach. And he makes sometimes he's in the wrong place, but he'll work himself out of trouble just with effort. So he's got to develop and keep working in the right direction. He's got a chance to be a really good player.
You mentioned playing a better team this week. A little more one-dimensional, but they do some odd things with their fronts and 13 and 14 type personnel. How does that impact your guys when you see those kind of odd alignments a little more regularly?
Well, it's things you got to obviously defend. You got to make sure you're in the proper place in terms of gap it out, and then you just got to make sure you play hard. They do some things with personnel that requires you to make sure that you're aligned correctly. That's first, and then you got to line up and whip somebody. So that's, like I said, guys, it ain't real complicated. We just got to do our job and do it fast and do it hard and play violent up front.
Last night, Pickering was saying he was thanking God that you were here this year and that you had a lot to do with him playing at a higher level this year. Obviously, you weren't here earlier in his career, but what have you seen from him from camp to now?
Well, Pick for me is a little bit of an enigma. He's got a lot of ability. We got to get him to turn it loose and not be scared to go hard and make a mistake. And right now he plays a little bit too controlled for me. And he's got to go out there and decide he wants to be the best D lineman on the field. And quite frankly, if he does that, he will be. And so it's a work in progress. Hopefully we can get him at a different speed, and that's what we're trying to work on.
You got some younger guys that haven't seen much action at this point. With the injuries you've had, I mean, how tempting is it, to push those guys out there and maybe take a red shirt off of them?
Well, it was tempting, when we went through that rash, and hopefully, knock on wood, we'll keep the guys we got healthy now. But it is tempting on one side, and the other side is you don't want to play a guy before he's ready. You can do more damage than good, and that's what you have to kind of balance as a coach. You throw a guy out there and he's not ready, and all of a sudden, he's playing against grown men in a grown man's league, and he could lose his confidence. And I've seen guys get ruined for their career just because they played too early. You'd rather play a guy late than play him early, and that's what we try to be cautious in doing.
Saw against Arkansas, the secondary maybe had its best game of the year. How much does that help your unit when guys like Sean Preston and DCAM are playing at that high of a level?
Well, it takes all 11 guys. We got to do a better job, and I told my guys we got to do a better job rushing the quarterback. We can't give him time, and which helps the back end guys. Those guys can't cover all day long, so we got to work at our craft and get better rushing the quarterback. That was probably a little bit more disappointing than anything on Saturdays. Is our pass rush. We didn't generate enough in terms of we had some one-on-ones. We didn't win the one-on-ones, which you got to do. So that's what we got to do up front is we got to help those back-end guys and generate some pressure for them.
More specific on the guys in the back end, how nice is it when you guys are able to generate pressure and you see the linebackers getting the quarterback, you see the corners and safeties getting the quarterback? What does that do for you and the guys?
Well, it's like anything else, and you guys know as fans, if you got guys playing in the backfield on defense, it's a good thing. It gets everybody excited. It gets the defense excited. In turn, it gets the offense excited and creates a little momentum, creates a little energy. And that's what we try to do. It's a fun defense to play. It's an attacking defense. And we got to create negative plays, and we got to create chaos in the backfield. And I don't think, speaking for my guys, we've done a good enough job of that yet.
You talk about the mobile quarterbacks that State's seen this year. It's kind of going back to that this year. KJ is, kind of the big power runner, but, Ashford and Thorne are guys that can kind of get out. You have to account for those guys now in the run game. How does that maybe change, your game plan when you've got a quarterback that you do get some pressure, he can break containment
Yeah.
and be a big play.
Well, you got to be disciplined in your rush lanes. You can't rush wild, so to speak. You have to be disciplined. You got to understand it takes, whether we're rushing 4, whether we're rushing 5, or whether we're rushing 6. Everybody's got a lane. Everybody has a job. If you get out of your lane, then now you're creating, number one, throwing lanes, but you're creating run lanes too. So it's a challenge in that everybody's got to make sure we do a good job in our rush lanes.
Like Coach Turner was saying, let's turn it around. How much did it help your guys the way the defensive front and linebackers were playing at Arkansas?
Well, yeah, well, it always helps, right? When you can create pressure and get behind the sticks and get them a 3rd and long and have them to drop back instead of. That's what Arkansas had done a good job of, all years. They've lost 4 games before we played them, or 5 in a row before we played them. They've been in every game in the 4th quarter, and they were good on 3rd down because 250-pound quarterback that can run the ball and short yardage and stay ahead of the chains and easy completions and all that. And so, anytime you can get the team behind the sticks and kind of control, 1st and 2nd down, it helps you on 3rd down, and that was our advantage of getting off the field. And then, the improvement, what our guys saw was anytime this year we struggled is when we didn't get off the field on 3rd down and drives continued to go 7 to 10 plays, we've given up points. Well, there was drives this past week, I think 7, 9, and 10, where we didn't give up any points. So that's taking a step in the right direction, but still a lot of improvement moving forward.
I asked Coach Brock about this last night, but your thoughts on Corey Ellington the past few weeks and the strides he's made?
Yeah, Corey's, before I got here, the first year as a true freshman, kind of came in the bowl game and played and was kind of sparingly throughout the year and been involved in special teams. And then he's, been banged up with a knee all in the spring and all that, and so been rehabbing, working his butt off, and finally got the opportunity to earn a starting job, and is taking advantage of it. And kid works hard, he's waiting for his opportunity, and so he's continued to make strides and does some good things. And like everybody else with Sean and Marcus and Isaacs, who's came in, is there's stuff on tape that we got to get corrected or somebody else will expose, and he's doing a good job doing that.
When you see a guy like Sean rise to the occasion, what does that do for the rest of the secondary? An old dog like that's been on the road and knows what it takes to win on the road.
Yeah, and he's a competitor. Sean loves playing football. He's been around for a while now. He's been here like 8 years, it seems like, and so he loves to compete, and so whenever he gets in there, and he's found the football a few times this year and made big plays, whether it's picking the ball off or making a tackle or forcing a turnover, and that's what it takes to kind of, like anything, right? You want momentum and you want to get the thing going. Well, it's guys making plays, and you hear Coach Arnett talk about time. Players make plays.
Coach Arnett was talking about yesterday just how often you guys practice those, end the game, Hail Mary situations and stuff like that. How have you seen players kind of embrace, those special situations in practice, and I guess how comfortable were you, in that moment knowing how often you guys practice it?
Well, I worked for a guy that got fired over it in the NFL, so I've been scarred on that play, and so we drilled every Thursday like most teams do, and go through it. But I don't think until you're really in that situation and guys understand, and in that last drive, as you look back on it, we gave up 3 points all game, and they had opportunities to end the game, and we could have come in the locker room with a different feeling, So as they see that on tape and stuff we got to get corrected, and they see how close it was and how hard it is to win, they see the importance and urgency of every play, but when the game's on the line, of doing your job and executing.
How much did you see your guys improve in the bye week leading up to that Arkansas game?
Yeah, I think as you play football and then you get some bye week, guys, like every coach says, right? You need time to kind of rest your body, get healthy a little bit. But then it's you get in the routine and rhythm of practice and the game every week, and then when you finally get a little time off, feel like it's been about 4 weeks, but it's only been a week since you played, so they're ready to get back at it. And I think our guys do a good job of kind of playing on the road and kind of feeding off the energy and all that stuff. And so we're looking forward to another challenge. Obviously going to Auburn this week, with it going to be a heck of an environment.
Auburn hasn't thrown the
Formationally,
ball.
Auburn does some odd things. You don't see a lot of 13, 14 personnel these days, but they run the same scheme, just different things formationally. How does that impact your guys' keys when you have formations like that, and how quickly can you get ready?
Well, that's football now, right? Is everyone's using these tight ends, 12 personnel, 13, 22. You got to see the formation, right? Because all these tight ends they can be in line, they can flex them out to get you in multiple ways, especially with teams that rotate personnel groups and go from base to nickel to dime. And, we kind of have our package and adjust all formations and all that. But, you look at Coach Freeze and Coach Montgomery that have kind of done a little bit of everything, right? Just 11 personnel, tempo, throwing the ball deep, vertical game, kind of the Art Briles stuff that both of them have done. And then they've also had all the different personnel packages as you go through it with both quarterbacks that are athletic and can run and got good personnel. And so, you know, they kind of hit the gauntlet of teams these last few weeks, just like how Arkansas did. And we know they're going to be hungry, ready to play, and we're going to get their best shot. And so it's going to be a good opportunity.